Hey, this is Mark Henry, author of Dancing with Energy, Healing, Magic, and Mysticism, here to talk to you more about the occult and the paranormal. Well, today I'm going to be doing a review of the Urban Crow Oracle deck. Before I begin, I just want to remind you that I have an Etsy store, and I just recently released two new items, one of which is mystical healing. So if you're interested in connecting to your inner and universal healing source, check that out. Spiritual healing is a big part of physical healing in a lot of instances. The second one is going to be Genius Charisma. So if you are interested in having more vitality, energy, more presence, then you might want to check that out, because when I say Genius Charisma, it is an attunement to the genius spirits. So I handpicked 5 spirits, so you're going to be connected to those 5 through the attunement instead of 1, which I normally do. So this is a little bit of a departure for me to do this. So I'll put a link in the description. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the Urban Crow Oracle deck. But before I begin, I just wanted to also mention, okay, so Mark, you've talked mostly about tarot, and now you're talking about oracle cards. So what are the differences? Well, there are some important differences. One, and if you are tarot practitioners, you know this already, that when we talk about the tarot, we talk about 78 cards. We talk about the major arcana, which are the 22, and the minor arcana, which are the 56, equaling 78. Also, there are standards for the tarot, like I mentioned, and there are spreads, Celtic Cross, 3-card spread, hundreds of other ones. Tarot is part of a tradition that is from the 1800s, I believe. Probably longer. I think that while in the 1800s, the late 1800s, we have the Rider-Waite deck. There were a couple instances further back in history where we had tarot-like cards. So it is part of a tradition that we follow. Also, if we look at different tarot decks, let's say that we're looking at the Tower card of the major arcana on the Rider-Waite. If we were to look at another deck, we could either find the tarot card, or even if it's renamed something else, it would still be the essence of the Tower card. So there is some connections to even the Rider-Waite deck. Now, more modern day tarot, the evolution of the Rider-Waite deck, we have all different types of mythologies, all these different types of narratives and themes that tarot can be based upon. And you kind of learn the interpretations and the system and use your intuition, and bing, bang, boo, you can do that particular tarot system. So what about the oracle decks? Okay, so not everybody likes oracle cards, but it's really up to the individual. They have a place. The thing about oracle cards is that it is more flexible and is more fluid. And I will read you the instructions for the Urban Crow Oracle real quick, so you can get a sense for what that is. Getting to know your crows. There's no right or wrong way to read the Urban Crow Oracle, but just like meeting a new friend, before you jump in, introduce yourself to your inner crow energy. Hold the cards and look at the artwork. Take notice of what stands out and how you feel with each image. When you hold the card, look at it and feel the energy the crow is offering. The birds of this deck come together, welcoming you into their world. They are yours and you are theirs. Let these wise, intuitive, and mythical creatures guide you, comfort you, provide inspiration, and spark ideas. So with oracle cards, while the tarot could have 78, the oracle cards, depending on the deck, could have 30, 52, 60. It's just completely up to the artist. It is very flexible, like I said. It's also you can have multiple and varying meanings to the interpretations. They won't follow necessarily the same. There won't be a Hierophant, of course, in the oracle decks. Usually they won't have that standard major arcana stuff, but they may have protection or mischief or these other types of things that will come up when in a reading where you can interpret that particular card in the context of what the querent is asking. So it is in a way less of a system, because there's no real oracle card deck that connects to other oracle cards decks, like the tarot. Like you can see some of the lines between them. So that is the long and short of the difference between the oracle and the tarot deck. Now, as far as the Lenormand deck, because I did mention that, the Lenormand deck is a little bit in between. It's not quite an oracle deck. It does have established cards that will connect to other Lenormand decks. So in that way, it's kind of like the tarot. On the other hand, it isn't 78 cards. Doesn't come from the particular, the Rider-Waite. So it is somewhere in between. So I think it would probably have its own category. But all that aside, let's get into the Urban Crow Tarot. So one of the things when we're talking about crows, that they're considered corvids. So they are in the same class as like magpies and ravens and those class of birds. They're very interesting creatures. One of the things that I discovered is that through research, that crows can remember faces, especially if it's some type of unpleasant experience with a human. Animal scientists have discovered that they can retain some of these memories like a human all the way up until their death. And it's said that they can hold a grudge, which I find that's very interesting. They're very interesting, intelligent, and wise birds. By the way, if you are interested, this is the Urban Crow Oracle, but the author, M.J. Cullinane, also has a Crow Tarot. So if oracle cards aren't your thing, then you can still get something similar in her tarot deck. All right, so as far as these cards are concerned, there's 54 of them, and there is a 58-page guidebook. I'm going to show you the box that it comes in. Let's see if we can get a good shot of that. There we go. And that's the back. The box is pretty sturdy. It's pretty thick. I have no doubt that it can protect your cards. Some people don't like having them in boxes, sometimes put them in bags, and that's okay too. But just feel comfortable that this is a sturdy enough box that you could store it in a closet or something like that. This is the guidebook. As I mentioned, it's 58 pages. It starts out with that particular introduction that I read to you. And then they jump straight into the meanings of the oracle cards. So, like I said, that is the preparation. You just kind of get to know the cards through meditation, through reading the guidebook, and then you can give it a shot. As far as other things are concerned, let's pull out some of the cards. Now, the name of it is the Urban Crow Tarot. So urban, you're automatically going to be thinking of less rural, more city-like environments, and so you're going to see in the cards, you can probably see that in the background, quite a few buildings and homes. These cards use a lot of more grays to kind of give you that feel for that urban setting. You're going to, all of the cards have this on the back side of the named card. The artwork is rather nice. So I will show you a few cards. This is Grief. Crows, as a bird species, are known to have their own, what some people interpret as funeral rites. They will go down and look over the dead. Some animal scientists believe that they're conducting like an investigation to determine whether they can see whether there was some type of threat and how that could affect their group. So they might be like, what happened to Joe here? So this theme of this card would be mischief. So you see these crows coming down, and there's this cat fixated. Now if you have cats, you know that this is probably an accurate representation. This is the card that says, let's fuck around and find out. Next, curiosity. So you see the crows in the background, looking on, and then there's a solitary crow coming into the home, being curious, saying, why'd they leave the door open, letting all this electricity, letting all this air conditioning out? Electricity bill is going to be high. Curiosity. Okay, so this is distraction. So these crows are like, that Boston Terrier isn't very smart. Let's con him out of his foods. By the way, that's what I call my dog. With his food, I call it the foods. Into communication. Where's the foods? How come it's not in my bowl? I need to pretend like you can keep me as a pet. Exposed. This one's saying, I'm about to get canceled. So that is a taste of the Urban Crow Oracle. So you can find these on Amazon. Very easy to locate. You can also get the Crow Tarot by the author, the same place. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments section. Please subscribe and like, and I'll put the link in the description for the Etsy store, so you can get those attunements, or at least check them out. All right, well, I will talk to you later. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.